Sir,
Yes.
welcome to second day session. The topic is pharmacovigilance by Dr. Jagdish Mitti, a professor, Department of Rashastra and Vaisheshya Kalpana, JSS Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore. Sir, on behalf of our department principal sir and our college and institute management members, I welcome you for the today's webinar session, sir. Welcome, sir. Now I
Thank
will
you.
hand over the mic for introduction speech, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning to everyone. I have immense pleasure in introducing the honorable speaker of the day, Dr. Jagdish sir. Sir is working as a professor in the Department of Prashashastra and Bhaishya Kalpana at JSS Ayurvedic Medical College, Mysore. Sir has an experience of working with pharmaceutical companies. Sir has completed his UG at DGM Ayurvedic Medical College, Gadag, PG at ALN Rao Memorial Ayurvedic Medical College, Koppa, and PhD at National Institute of Ayurveda. He worked as lecturer, assistant professor, and professor in the Department of RS and BK, and as well served as pharmacy instructor at DGM Ayurvedic Medical College at Gadag. Worked as medical advisor and production manager at Berries Healthcare Private Limited, Hubli. Worked as professor and HOD in the Department of RS and BK at Kalabhaireshwara Swami Ayurvedic Medical College, Bangalore. Sir has teaching experience more than 15 years, clinical experience more than 20 years, and he has an experience more than 14 years as a pharmacist. Sir has involved in trials of the Hatri Balatakavati on Amavata, sponsored by RG Ventures Bangalore. Sir is recognized as PG and PhD guide and guided more than 14 PG dissertations works. To his credit, Sir has 20 paper publications and 25 presentations. Sir has taken active participation in International Conference and Ayur Expo Atharva 2006, CME on RS and BK Chamara 2006, served as Public Relation Officer for the International Conference and Ayur Expo at DGM Ayurvedic Medical College, Gadag, and organized CME for teachers sponsored by Ayush Government of India at JSS Ayurvedic Medical College, Mysore. With this, I conclude the brief introduction and request Dr. Jagdish sir to continue with his presentation. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your brief introduction about me. So first of all, good morning to everybody. Respected Sudi Madam, my dear friends, Dr. Anupama, Dr. Gotur, and other staff of the Department of Arshastra and Vaisheshya Kalpana. My special gratitude. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Sir.
Okay. So my gratitude to the respected principal, K.C. Das sir, for this opportunity, and also I wholeheartedly thank the staff of the HOD and staff of Department of Rashastra and Vaisheshya. Thank you. So the topic allotted to me is the pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance, it's a burning issue. So earlier when I was studying in PG, maybe the Anupama madam and Godur sir or Sudi madam, when we have studied either in the PG or UG, we were not aware about the pharmacovigilance. Now it's a burning issue. So pharmacovigilance, it's a national program actually. It's a national program introduced by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And it has been included now in the syllabus, both UG and PG. So you might have gone through that. But recently, pharmacovigilance has developed in such a way that The last 2 days, we have received one report from WHO. India is the best pharmacovigilance program center in the world since 2017. They have highlighted. The report is there. Just there was a media release from WHO. Among all the countries in the world, India is developing very fastly, establishing the pharmacovigilance. Like that, they have appreciated. So, what is this pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance program of ASU and H drugs, that is Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathy drugs. So, this pharmacovigilance, why it came into existence? It is only with the two intentions. One is the ADR, adverse drug reaction. We have so many drugs which will administer to the patients. When the patient will come to your clinic or the hospital, you treat the patient. There are some drugs which you can administer. Once you administer, the patient will come after 1 to 2 days, maybe with some other complications or some other symptoms. Rather than curing the disease or with the curing the disease with other symptoms which are called as the adverse drug reaction. And one more thing to establish the aim is misleading advertisements. So misleading advertisements, recently you have a example of Patanjali. He has manufactured one drug, Ramdev Baba, which is called as the Coronil, and he claimed that it will cure the corona, and he published before launching that drug or before launching that product. We have reported to the national authorities, and he has issued the notice, and he has issued a notice to UP government, who has given license for that product. Then the product was cancelled. That's a misleading advertisements. The world is suffering, the global is suffering from COVID-19. But these people are claiming, I'm not underestimating the Ayurveda. If you're claiming, you should have evidences. It will take years together to get one molecule when you come into market as a medicine. You can't make it within 1 or 2 months. You can't make it, the molecule is there. I'm not telling that the coronal is not, it cures the corona. I'm not telling that. It won't cure the corona, or it will not cure the COVID-19. It may cure. It may become a best drug in future. That will be a credit to the Ayurveda itself. But the thing is, it will take time to get the research. You can't claim it immediately that it kills the corona virus or it treats the COVID-19. Then he was changed the product into as an immunobooster. Then the permission was given to sell the product into the market. That is one example of misleading advertising. Recently, we have one more report we have reported in Tamil Nadu, which is called as the Corona Mysore Pak. They are claiming that Mysore Pak cures the corona, or it kills the coronavirus, or it treats the COVID-19. They reported that shop, Mysore Pak, who is selling that shop is sealed, and the FIR filed against him. So that is the importance of pharmacovigilance. That you should know. For Ayurveda, it is very essential. So recently, in last 8 to 10 years back, we have a blame that Ayurvedic drugs are not safe. They will harm the kidneys. Why? Because the proper processing is not there of the drugs and the formulation. If properly processed, you don't have any adverse drug reaction. Okay, so that's why the pharmacovigilance is needed. So you might have seen this advertisement. TV nodirtira. It's a Fair and Lovely. See this Fair and Lovely, how they will claim 7 दिन में आपका रंग गोरा हो जाए. Will become fair within 7 days. Am I right? TV ಅದೇ ತರ ತಾನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. 7 ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಿಳಿ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. 7 दिन में गोरा आ जाओगे ಅಂತ ಹಿಂದಿ advertisement. So ನಾನು see, most of the people are knowing me. I've seen ನಂದು ಒಂಥರ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಕಿಲ್ಲರ್. ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ 20 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಹಚ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇವತ್ತುವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. I didn't become fair because of Fair and Lovely. Since 20 years I'm using. So how they can claim that? So that is why recently it has been changed. Fair and Lovely, you have reported, that's why it's changed to Glow and Lovely now. You can't become a fair. There may be a glow in your face. So that is why they have changed the name now. Market ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನು ಫೇರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲವ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ಲೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಲವ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. The name has changed as Glow and Lovely. There's one example for misleading advertisement. This is another example for misleading advertisement. That is Ayush soap. You come see, they are claiming that ಮುಂಜಾವಿನ ಹೊಂಗಿರಣದಂತ ಗ್ಲೋ ಪಡೆ. So how it is possible? ಮುಂಜಾವಿನ ಹೊಂಗಿರಣದ, how you can correlate? It's not possible. So such claiming. And you have one more. Recently I went to Delhi. That means before COVID, this outbreak of COVID-19. In the last year December, I went to Delhi. There was one meeting, and some traditional. He doesn't have any license, but he is practicing. He is claiming that the advertisement is like that. 10 दिन में आदमी को जिंदा करूँगा. So how it's possible? Huh? How it's मरे हुए आदमी कैसे जिंदा होगा? How it's possible? So such claims are misleading advertising. That is the one part. See, this is the example of ADR. There are rashes you can see, adverse drug reactions, this is nothing but the ADR. There are some rashes which are produced due to the drug. The patient came to this is our hospital patient. So due to some drug consumption or after administering of a patient by physician or prescribed by physician, patient has administered or consumed the medicine and he has come with complaint with rashes. That is the ADR. See, in the faces also you can see the rashes and reddish patches also. That is another example. This is during the treatment. Some drugs produces the ADRs. During for external treatment or external administration, burning are there. See the feet. There are burning of the feet because of that Swedana. It has done, or by Abhyanga also it has produced. After following by the Swedana. Which drug it has produced, we don't know. That is the pharmacovigilance. We have to assess that. So keeping in mind with these examples, the misleading advertisements and the adverse drug reaction, the pharmacovigilance came into existence. So what do you mean by pharmacovigilance? What is the meaning of the pharmacovigilance? The exact meaning, the literal meaning of pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is derived from the two words. One is pharmaco, another one is vigilance. Pharmacon means, pharma means medicine. Vigilance means to keep watching the drug. That means the drug which are administered to the patient, you go on keep watching the drug, whether that produces the effect or producing any adverse drug reactions. Keep watching the drug is nothing but the pharmacovigilance. So vigilance is watchfulness in guarding against danger or providing for safety. So vigilance is nothing but watchfulness in guarding against danger. That means any medicine when you administer to the patient, you have to see or you have to guard any side effects or any dangers it's occurring. That you have to prevent, and also you have to provide the safety for that, followed by the safety. So that is the pharmacovigilance. Overall, pharmacovigilance means pharmacovigilance is watchfulness in guarding against danger from drugs or providing for safety. When you're guarding against the danger of the drug, that means the drug is safe. That means the drug is safe. If there is no danger when you administer any drug to the patient, then the drug is safe. That is pharmacovigilance. So what the WHO definition about the pharmacovigilance? So pharmacovigilance is the science and activities. It is not only science by reading that and you can keep it aside. It's a science and you have to do some activities like relating to detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other possible medicine related problem. Any other possible medicine related, any other problem which is related to the medicine. See, the activities relating to detection. Detection means identifying or detecting the adverse drug reaction. In a layman language, detecting the side effects. Then assessment from which drug. In Ayurveda, it is very difficult because we have so many compound formulations. So, ಒಂದು ಇರ್ತಾವೆ 50 ಡ್ರಗ್ ಇರೋದು 100 ಡ್ರಗ್ ಇರೋದು 10 ಇರೋದು 5 ಇರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತವೆ. So you will get all the drugs from which drug it has produced the adverse drug reaction. So that is the assessment. Once you assess that, you will understand that from such a drug it has produced such a symptom. That you will understand. Then I prevention. Once you understand that by detecting and assessing, you have to prevent that adverse effects. For that, what you have to do? Whether you have to stop the drug, whether you have to, or from which drug it has happened, that you have to remove the drug in the next preparation. That all the things you have to decide. Or any other possible medicine-related problem, any other problem which is related to the medicine, called as pharmacovigilance. I'll give you the best example for this definition. So detection, here pharmacovigilance is detection, assessment, understanding and prevention of adverse effects. See, suppose with my experience, I have for one patient I have administered or prescribed the Gandhaka Rasayana. Next day he came with urticaria and rashes, especially over the tip of the fingers, then lips, then some to the hands, some urticaria itching is there. So that is the detection of ADR. ADR detect item. Find the ADR for producing such symptoms, itching and the rashes. Then assessment. Then you will assess that from which drug it has happened. Maybe Gandhaka Rasayana means it was definitely it has happened from Gandhaka. The drug Gandhaka. Because maybe Gandhaka Shodhana should be, maybe the company which have manufactured that, maybe they have not processed properly or Shodhana cannot be done properly applied Gandhaka. That is assessment. Then understanding. Then you came to understand that from Gandhaka Rasayana, Gandhaka is the drug which produces the ADR or adverse drug reaction. That you will understand. Now you have to prevent and prevention of adverse effects. So prevention ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Stop the drug immediately to that patient. Stop ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Stop ಮಾಡಿ you have to report to the centers. So which are the centers? I will explain it. So report to the authorities of the pharmacovigilance. Then they will prevent that. They will issue the notice to the particular company. Then they will take the action. They will stop the medicine, that whole batch which have they manufactured at Gandhaka Rasayana. That is the procedure of pharmacovigilance. That is the definition. Pharmacovigilance is science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other possible medicine-related problem. So it is pharmacovigilance not only related with at present situation. There is a pharmacovigilance explanation you get in Ayurveda in our classes. Yatha Visham, according to Charaka Sutrasthana, first chapter, Yatha Visham Yatha Shastram, Yatha Agni Rashanireta, Tataushadam Vidnyatam, Tataushadam Vidnyatam, Vidnyatam Amrutam Yatha. So that means if the physician knows the drug very well, or before if the physician knows if he doesn't know the drug or the medicine very well, then it will kill that person. If you administer such drug, if you don't have a knowledge about that particular medicine for whom you are administering, if you don't have a knowledge of that, what will happen? It produces the adverse drug reaction. And it may harm. So, yatha visham, yatha shastram, yatha agni. It kills that person like Visha, Shastra, and Agni. So it will become marital. Unknown medicine is always marital. ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ದಟ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್. Then will come with some ADRs. So it will become marital. That means it kills the person like Visha, Shastra, Agni. Tataushadam Vijnanam Vijnatam Amrutam. The medicine which is known to you, which you are very confident that it will cure that disease, it will become a nectar, Amrutam. It acts as a Amrut. You will get the reference. So this is nothing but the pharmacovigilance which will get in Charaka Sutrasthana, first chapter. We have one more example in Charaka Vimanasthana, first chapter, about the pharmacovigilance. Yogati Visham Tikshnam Uttamam Veshijam Veshijam Chayapidatam Tikshnam Sampaddate Visham. So a potent poison become the best drug on proper administration. See, a poison may become a best medicine. We have a Vishadravas also which we are prescribing to the patients, or which are preparing the medicines and prescribing to the patients. For example, Vatsanaba. A potent poison becomes best drug on proper administration. Not only proper administration, and also by proper processing. If you are administering Vatsanaba with other drugs, it's one of the composition. So what you have to do? It has to be processed first. Vatsanaba Shodhana should be done. Otherwise, it produces the ADR. That is nothing but the pharmacovigilance. So that is why processing the drug and administration is very important. The poison becomes best drug when you process it properly, when you administer it in an exact manner what the classic tells or what the procedure is. On the contrary, if you have a best drug, if you not administer properly, or if you not prepare it properly as per the classical procedure, then it may become a poison. The reverse, best drug also become a poison. So this is according to Charaka Vimanasthana. So this is the one more reference you will get it in Charaka. This is also Charaka Sutrasthana, I think so. The physician who observes and treats frequently the Rogi and Rogavastha will be a successful physician. The physician who observes and treats frequently. So any physician who is treating the patients, he can observe frequently have to observe the Rogi and Rogavastha, the stage of the Roga and also Rogi. Rogi, what you have to observe? So you have to consider all the factors: dosha, desha, bala, kala, prakriti, vaya, agni. All these factors should be considered. Okay. Then only you can treat the patient. Then only you will become a successful physician. So that is the one reference. So frequently, muhur. The sloka will come like muhur. So frequently you have to, when you are treating the patient, regularly, frequently, Rogi and Rogavastha, both should be observed and treated. So that is which Charaka will explain. In the Charaka, this comes under Charaka Chikitsasthana, 38th chapter, you get the reference. Murmusya Roganam Avastamaparasya Avekshanamanasthu. Aveksha means that sloka is skipped here. It was not there. Actually, I have made the slide missing. So Avekshamanastu means keep watching the Avekshamanastu Bishop. Frequently you have to observe. Avekshamana means observing. Chikitsayam namayat. Chikitsa will not be failed. That means you will become a successful physician. That is Charaka Chikitsasthana, 38th chapter. Then why it came into existence, pharmacovigilance? So humanitarian concern. The first thing is pharmacovigilance is why we need, because of the humanitarian concern. First, do no harm. First, ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ. ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಡ್ರಗ್ ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವ, ವೆದರ್ ದಟ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್, ವೆದರ್ ದ ಡ್ರಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ harm. It may be efficacy to the disease for which you have administered. Efficacy ಇರದೇ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಅದರಿಂದ ಯಾವುದು ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. So that is the intention of pharmacovigilance. Why it is needed? Because of the humanitarian. ಔಷಧಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಆದರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಂತೂ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. Should not produce any harm to them. So we have some data why it came into existence. It has been suggested that adverse drug reactions may cause 5,700 deaths per year in UK. In UK itself, you have 5,700 drugs. Adverse drug reactions are among the top 10 causes of drug mortality. The drug mortality in US, drug mortality, adverse drug reactions is the top 10 causes, one of the top 10 causes. Then hospitalization attributed to the adverse drug reaction. That means whichever drug will administer, you will get admitted to the hospital, or you will hospitalize. That is, the range is 2.4 to 6.4% of all hospital admissions in the Western world. So Western world ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ, 2.4 to 6.4 ಈ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. So that is why pharmacovigilance is needed. Drug related morbidity and mortality expenses exceeded. That expenses is also more due to the adverse drug reaction. By considering all these, pharmacovigilance came into existence. The need of pharmacovigilance. So why it is needed for Ayurvedic medicine? Why it is needed for Ayurvedic medicine? So as you know, in ancient times, the physician is used to prepare. You have to Dhanvantara Bhaga, Rudra Bhaga, ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ನಾವೇ ಫಿಸಿಷಿಯನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನೇನೋ ಒಂಚೂರು ಈಗ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಧನ್ವಂತರ ಭಾಗ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ದ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದರ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. So now it's not possible. Even the institute, so earlier the GMP license was exempted for institutions as well as the physicians who are preparing the medicine for their patients. Now for them also, good manufacturing practices license should be GMP license needed because of the pharmacovigilance. Because today production and sale of Ayurvedic drugs is formalized into a thriving industry. It has gone to the industry. For commercial purpose, what they will do, they won't follow the proper procedure of classical procedure which the medicine should be prepared. For example, ಗಂಧಕ ಶೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 7 ಸಾರಿ ಗೋಧುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಲನ 3 ಸಾರಿ ಮಾಡೋದು 4 ಸಾರಿ to make it a more profit. So it should not be done, and adulteration should be done. So every product which is entering into the market or which are selling it in the market, it needs a license. For that, the main reason is the pharmacovigilance. We have two products, classical Ayurvedic formulations and patent. So for both, you need a GMP license. And to properly processing of drugs, it is essential. The industrialization has brought many challenges about the safe use of the Ayurvedic medicines. So that's why pharmacovigilance is needed. So why it started? There is a history. Why the pharmacovigilance started? Pharmacovigilance ಯಾಕೆ started? See, there is one medicine which is called the thalidomide trazodone. ಈ ಪ್ರೆಗ್ನಿಡಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಗ್ನೆಂಟ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೆನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಅವಾಗ ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು ಥಾಲಿಡೋಮೈಡ್. So it has entered the market in the 1960s and it is marketed in 46 countries for the prevention of nausea. For the prevention of nausea, especially in pregnancy. So it was practiced and it was administered in the 46 countries coming to market. It came into market. It reports that it has produced the phocomelia. The phocomelia means deformed infants. That means, see the picture this is. The infants have become handicapped. Legs are not properly grown, limbs are not upper limbs, lower limbs. So that is a phocomelia. So that's a deformed infants. More than 20,000 cases were happened. Then the pharmacovigilance came into. And in USA, 1962, the amendment was made about Federal Food, Drugs and Cosmetics Act, required for both safety and efficacy of data. ಅವಾಗ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಫಾರ್ಮಕೋವಿಜಿಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಕೋವಿಜಿಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟು ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಸೊ US ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ 1962ದಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ಫುಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. UK ದಲ್ಲಿ 1964 ಅದನ್ನೇ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. WHO, so first USA started, UK started, then the whole WHO concerned World Health Organization 1968, they have made it as Program for International Drug Monitoring the drug of safety of the drug in 1968. So what is the historical background of pharmacovigilance in India? So 1986 only it was started in India, but not as pharmacovigilance, as ADR monitoring system for India. Proposed 12 regional centers. With 12 regional centers, it has started. It was flopped in 1986, and again it was started in 1997. Joined with WHO ADR monitoring program. Then there was only 3 centers: AIIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science; KM, that is the Kempegowda Institute of Medical Science, Bangalore, that is in our Karnataka. Then Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College. 3 centers were there. Again it was flopped. Then in the 2004, because of the lack of funds, now the name has been kept as National Pharmacovigilance Program. In 2004 to 2008. There were 2 zonal centers, 5 regional centers, and 24 peripheral centers, which were overseen by CDSO, Central Drug Standard Cooperation. So Central Drug Standard, and the committee is there, Committee of Central Drug Standard Committee. So that is a look after by the CDSCO. Look after by CDSCO. Then again it was started by the work was started, but the funds were not there. Slowly it was going on. But in the year 2010, the Pharmacovigilance Program of India was established once again. So earlier it was National Pharmacovigilance Program. In 2010, Pharmacovigilance Program of India was started. In 1986 it was flopped. In 1997 it was flopped. 2004-18 it was established, but work is going on very slowly. In 2010 it is established completely and work was started. See, there WHO International Drug Monitoring Program had started National Pharmacovigilance Centers. What they have to do: collection, processing and evaluation of case reports, suspected adverse reactions suffered by healthcare professionals. So what is the scenario in India? So what is the role of the pharmacovigilance centers? Collection of the ADRs. Suppose ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು adverse drug reaction ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ adverse drug reaction ನ ನೀವು collect ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. If National Pharmacovigilance Center will collect, they will process how it has happened, that's assessment, and evaluate the case reports. Then suspected adverse reactions supplied by healthcare professionals. ನೀವೇನು report ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ, so that will be assessed by the National Pharmacovigilance Center. The scenario in India, the scope for adulteration, for example, Compilec drug you are getting it, what they will do, they will add the brick powder and the efficacy will not be there. It may produce the adverse drug reaction. That is one reason. Development of formulations which do not have conceptual basis are increased. That means classically conceptual basis irde iruvanta formulations ಜಾಸ್ತಿ develop ಆಗ್ತವೆ. So ಅದರಿಂದ because of the commercial, it should not happen like that. Okay, it should not happen. So the slides, these are the slides which I have explained right now. Slides visible idena? Hello? Slides are visible? Can you hear me?
हाँ सर. Yes sir.
Slides ಕಾಣ್ತಿದಾವ?
हाँ sir.
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 3-4 ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಇದಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Now it's moving. Slides are moving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this slide. So scenario in India in context of ASU, scope of adulteration. That is one reason. Development of formulation which do not have conceptual basis. The number of adverse drug reactions of ASU drugs reported in National Pharmacovigilance Center in India is negligible. See what happens if my clinic is there, one patient will come and there may be some adverse drug reaction whichever the medicine I'll administer to that patient. I won't, because of the responsibility, I won't report to the centers, the nearby center. Yeah, why it is needed? It is not essential for me. What will happen? Because there is no profit for me. The people will think like that. ನನಗೇನು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ. Negligible report, but the awareness has to increase. So in India, under the control of CDSCO, it was started in 2003. So WHO had emphasized traditional medicine in pharmacovigilance system and published guidelines on safety monitoring of herbal medicines also. See, WHO had emphasized guidelines for safety monitoring of herbal medicines also. Herbal medicines means they are not safe. Why they are not safe? Herbal medicines, now we are cultivating in a bulk quantity for the requirement of the companies to manufacture the medicines. For that, we will add the pesticidal residue. We'll add the pesticides. We'll add the fertilizers, which produces. There may be a presence of metals, heavy metals in the herbal drugs itself nowadays. It may be mercury, it may be cadmium, arsenic, like that. So that is why it should be guidelines are there, safety monitoring of herbal medicines. That comes under the pharmacovigilance. So this pharmacovigilance program aims to provide adverse drug reactions data related of herbal, mineral, metallic, animal, and other origin available in the country. Any origin of the drug, all the drugs will be monitored. So that is the aim of pharmacovigilance. So in coordination with NPCCASU, that is the guidance of National Pharmacovigilance Consultation Committee for ASU drugs, consult ASU drugs, constituted by Department of Ayush, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. See, now the pharmacovigilance program has started in coordination with National Pharmacovigilance Consultation Committee. See, when National Pharmacovigilance Pharmacovigilance program was established in India in the year 2010, there was a pharmacovigilance head center, that is National Pharmacovigilance Center, IPGT and RA, Jamnagar. There are 8 regional centers. One is in BHU, one is in Thiruvananthapuram, that is in as per the zonal. North BHU is there, Varanasi, Thiruvananthapuram, that is in south. Then for east, Guwahati, west, National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. In the central, that is Bhopal. These are the centers for Ayurveda. That is BHU, Thiruvananthapuram, Guwahati, National Institute of Ayurveda, and Bhopal. And CCRS is also one of the branch for the pharmacovigilance center. Regional, these are called a regional center. One for Siddha and one for Unani. Earlier, there is no inclusion of the homeopathy. Only Siddha, Unani, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani was there. There were 30 peripheral centers in 2010 were established. So in in that 30 peripheral centers, one center in Bangalore CCRS branch and one more in KLE College, Belgaum. There you will get the 2 centers. So again it is revised. Now the head is in the year 2018. It was updated. Now the head is All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi, National Pharmacovigilance Center. Earlier it was IPGT and RA Jamnagar was there. Now it has become All India Institute of Ayurveda, Delhi right now. We have only 2 centers which are called as intermediary centers. for Ayurveda, and one for Siddha, one for Unani, one for homeopathy. So totally 5 intermediary pharmacovigilance centers we have. So the two Ayurvedic related, one is there in NIA Jaipur, and another one is IPGT and earlier it was a head IPGT and RA Jamnagar. Now it has become the intermediary center. So one is National Institute of Siddha in Chennai for Siddha medicines. One is National Institute of Unani Medicine in Bangalore for the Unani system. National Institute of Homeopathy in Kolkata for homeopathy system. So these are 5 intermediary pharmacovigilance centers. The Ayurvedic peripheral centers, there are 63 peripheral centers now at present. 63 peripheral pharmacovigilance centers. Our JSS college is also one of the pharmacovigilance centers now. So now there are 6 centers in Karnataka among 63 peripheral centers in all over India. One is in KLE, earlier it was there, CCRS Bangalore, now Government Ayurveda Medical College Bangalore, SDM Ayurveda College Mysore, SDM Ayurveda College Bangalore, SDM Ayurveda College Hassan, and JSS Ayurveda College Mysore. So totally 5 peripheral centers are there in Karnataka among 63 peripheral centers. Just 1 week back only we had a meeting with Ministry, Dr. Kotoj, DC Kotoj. They are increasing the PV centers, that is peripheral pharmacovigilance centers, PPVCs. 11 PPVCs are coming in India. In that UP, Andaman Nicobar, there were no centers. They are establishing there. So total becomes, so within 1 month it will become 74. 74. Okay. So that is the centers of pharmacovigilance. So these peripheral every physician should report to the peripheral pharmacovigilance center nearby. Those should report to the intermediary, then National Pharmacovigilance Center. The next pharmacovigilance program for ASU drugs. So what is the schemes? It aims, I already explained, reporting culture among the consumers as well, ASU practitioners, to facilitate documentation of ADRs, and developing a system-wise database of ADRs of ASU drugs and evolving evidence-based recommendations regarding clinical safety. Clinical safety is very important in treating the patient with a good drug. So that is why the database of ADR should be developed. That is the intention of pharmacovigilance. And reporting instances of misleading advertisements of ASU drugs and improper advertisements of ASU and AS drugs for regulatory actions. So this is a national pharmacovigilance that I have explained already. Develop the culture documenting adverse effects, undertake safety of monitoring of ASU and AS drugs, and misleading advertisements. What does it mean? Aims, objectives, aims and objectives. ಒಂದು ADR ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವುದೇ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆದರೂ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಿಸ್ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಸರ್ವಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿಸ್ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ objectives of National Pharmacovigilance Center. Why to report ADRs? ADRs, suppose if you are a physician, I am telling that you have to report. ನಾನೇ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Why you have to report unnecessary? See, why you have to report? It is a contribution to the society. Improve patient care and safety of medicine. By reporting that, the patient will be benefited. So that means you are caring your own patients. So that is why improve patient care and safety of the medicines you have to do. Improve public health. Overall, the public health and safety should be observed. Then assess of benefit, harm, cost effectiveness of the medicines also comes under the ADRs or under the pharmacovigilance. So economy should be there. Then to reduce the sufferings, by reporting that, the medicine will be processed properly and it will sell in the market, and awareness will be developed among the public as well as the manufacturers. By making the strict rules, that reduces the sufferings. So if there is no ADRs, the sufferings will be less. That is the intention, the main intention. So recently I was telling 8 to 10 years back in the JAMA article, all those things, Ayurvedic medicines are not safe. The allopathy people were always claiming that Ayurvedic medicines are not safe, especially basmas. So for that, pharmacovigilance is needed to reduce the blame on Ayurvedic medicine for the best. If the properly processed medicine is there, there is no need of any adverse, there will not be any adverse drug reaction. And for that, no need of any pharmacovigilance will come in. And legally safeguard physicians against rare ADR. So even the physician, some drugs will administer to the patient severe ADR. Sometimes it leads to death, and you will go to the consumer. That time you will go to the Consumer Act. So in Ayurveda it is very less, but sometimes it will happen. But legally, if you reported that drug, you will be safe. You will tell that already I have reported such drug is not proper, sir. So that is why I have already reported. If the patient death is also there, you will not be blamed, and that is for your safety. Legally safeguarding the physician also. ADRs are reporting the ADR is very important. Then what should be reported? For new medicines, all suspected ADRs. Any new medicines to you, you think that there is a new medicine, so that can be reported. Produces any suspected. So there are some medicines with acute or unusual ADRs. You are prescribing, you are very known with that medicine. The ADRs, those are called as unusual ADRs. ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಲ್ಲ, but ಅದು ADRs form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So such ADR should be reported. Increase the frequency of known ADRs. So ಇಂಥ ಡ್ರಗ್ ಇಂದ ಇಂಥ ADR ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಥ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. Suppose some antibiotics ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ the patient will suffer from headache. Still then you will administer the medicine. The frequency will increase, then you have to report. Then suspected interactions like drug-drug interactions, drug-food interactions can be reported. All suspected ADRs of any clinical importance, suspected ADR should be reported. If there is any drug resistance, that also reported. Drug dependency, abuse, and all ADRs special population. For example, especially drugs which are contraindicated in pregnancy, lactation, children and old people, that is geriatrics, should be reported. Then the drugs which are ADRs resulting from overdose of the drug or underdose of the drug or any medication errors, those can be reported. And report of lack of efficacy. If the drug is not acting properly for that particular disease for which you are claiming. So in the disease in the cure ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಆ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರ, but efficacy will not be there. That also you can be reported. Then who should be reported? The physician can, the doctors who is treating the patients, they can report. The pharmacist. So what will happen? Sometimes the patient will get the medicines without coming to the doctor. He will go to the pharmacist where he has purchased the medicine. So he'll purchase ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಥ ಡ್ರಗ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಊರಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. So they can also report. If your IBD patient is admitted, you can report. The patients can inform to the nurses, and nurses can also be reported. Then community healthcare workers like ASHA ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರು, they can also report. Physicians, pharmacists, nurses and community healthcare workers. Where to report? Either peripheral center or national center or intermediate. 5 intermediate centers are there. For that, if you are Ayurveda, you have 2 intermediate centers. That is IPGT RA Jamnagar and NIA. Or you have 63. Among 63, you have 36 Ayurvedic centers are there. Nearby, whichever the peripheral pharmacovigilance centers are there, you can report. Suppose you are in Illikal, your college in Illikal, the nearby peripheral pharmacovigilance center is Belgaum to you. You can report to the Belgaum. So ours is a peripheral pharmacovigilance center in Mysore, nearby Chamarajanagar, Mandya. Even Bangalore people can also report to the Mysore center. So like that you have to report. Then how to report ADRs? You have a suitable forms. The forms which is formed by National Pharmacovigilance Coordination Center, All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. They have made one format which are called as the ADR form. In that format you have to report. So this is the format. Just I have scanned that. It contains 3 pages. name of the patients, and which drug is name of the drug manufacturer, dose, route of administration from which symptoms it has produced. Suppose if you're giving more than one medicine, you won't get that from which medicine it has produced. Or suppose you are giving with allopathy system of medicine, that also you have to mention, because we have to assess. Assessing is very difficult. So many drugs we are taking, it may be allopathy, ತಗೋತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಯುರ್ವೇದನ ತಗೋತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Then assessing will become very difficult. So all those drugs will be mentioned along with the dose drug which has produced, so that from which drug it has produced, that they can assess and report it to the concerned, either the intermediary center or the national center. Whether the symptom is severe, if the symptom is severe, up to 3 scale is there. If the symptom at all symptoms are very less, 0 is there, -1, +1, depending upon the symptoms, the scale has formed. That scale should be maintained. So this is the ADR format. So how is the flow of the pharmacovigilance? That means if you are a physician, you will report to the nearby pharmacovigilance. Suppose our pharmacovigilance center, JSS Ayurveda Medical College, you will report to our center. Then we will forward it to the IPVCs, that is the Intermediary Pharmacovigilance Center. Then those IPVCs screen them and forward it to the National Pharmacovigilance Center. The National Pharmacovigilance Center, that is the All India Institute of Health. So NPVCC review them, conduct causality analysis, from which cause it has happened, the ideas, then prepare the report and forward it to the ministry. Ministry office ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದು. That is the formation flow. So once they will send the report data to the ministry, what it is evaluated seriously with clinical research in different mode of factors to ensure the maximum safety of drugs. The steps will be taken for both classical and proprietary medicines, and also causality assessment. Which cause it has happened should be assessed. There are some basic terminologies which you can know. So just I will mention. I won't go in detail. So adverse drug reaction. What do you mean by ADR? I was telling since the first slide, ADR. ADR is adverse drug reaction, a response to a drug which is noxious and unintended. Unintended means your intention is not there to produce the adverse drug reaction, but it will produce. And which is noxious means which is severe, and which occurs at doses normally. Normal dose you drug ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗೆ, suppose paracetamol is 500 mg you are administering to the patient, it produces the adverse drug reactions. It produces some symptoms, that is called as ADR. For treating in man, for prophylaxis means for suppose now for COVID-19, you are taking some medicines as a prophylaxis so that it should not come, the virus should not attack you. So that is a prophylaxis. Then diagnosis, for diagnosis purpose, you will use some medicines, and to treat the disease, therapy of the disease. Treat some diseases also, you will give or you will administer the medicines to the patient. When you giving it in a normal dose, it produces severe and unintended symptoms which are called as ADR. So that is the ADR. Then adverse event. So I explained about the thalidomide incident in Germany coming to the market, which produces the phocomelia, that is a handicapping of 20,000 infants. That is the one adverse event. It affects some of the community. So that is the adverse event. Then serious adverse event or reaction which results in death, maybe hospitalization may take place. Then disability, some parts of the body may disable, or misuse or dependence, concern misuse and dependence will happen. Then the recommendations. Again one slide is missing there. So what you will recommend as a pharmacovigilance? What are your recommendations? There are several ways we can move forward in attempting to update the pharmacovigilance system for Ayurvedic drugs. So I was telling, in 1986 it was started, flop. In 1997 it was started, flop. In 2004 to 2008 it was started, and work is not in a better way. the work is very slow. Then it was established 2010. Since then it is working properly. So for that, your cooperation, physicians' cooperation, the health workers' cooperation is very important to establish. So some of them recommendations are what we can recommend. Concepts of pharmacovigilance should be included in the curriculum itself. So see, already it has been included in UG syllabus and as well as the PG syllabus. Pharmacovigilance is there. Now we are teaching to the students, and students are studying that. The studies on drug safety should be encouraged with strict implementation of regulations related to the collection, manufacturing, preservation, dispensing, and ethical guidance. Follow strictly the GMP, good manufacturing practices. There is no need of pharmacovigilance. Then reporting of adverse reactions to regulators should be made mandatory. So EDRs ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಒಂದು adverse drug reactions in clinical ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ it should become mandatory to report. Then unbiased and easily accessible drug information. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾನ ಇಡಬೇಕು in the form of TKDL, that is Traditional Knowledge Digital Library ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ. The information should be kept there, all the information. Then regular awareness programs should be conducted among practitioners, patients, and paramedical staff. So ours is a pharmacovigilance center. I am the coordinator for this center, pharmacovigilance. So what I have to give the awareness programs around the Mysore, in and around the Mysore. That is for the practitioners, for the patients, for the paramedical staff. It may be nurses, it may be internees, it may be post-graduations, will be awareness programs will be conducted. Then a validated scale should be, scale is there as I've explained in the ADR format. That is 1, 2, 3. But it should be updated. A validated scale should be developed for the reporting of ADR on the basis of Ayurvedic principles. So this is about the recommendations. You have to recommend what you have to, what should be done to update the pharmacovigilance. Till then, among the world, our Indian pharmacovigilance is working very nicely, and it was appreciated by WHO when I was explaining about the introduction to the pharmacovigilance. So this is all about the pharmacovigilance. Because of the misleading advertisements, because of the ADRs which are produced, we have to report. And also on this platform, I will request you, if you have any finding, any ideas, kindly report to us, any peripheral pharmacovigilance center in Karnataka, so that we can develop this and we can do the needful for the patients or to the society. So thank you. Thank you very much. For this, I would like to thank the organizers, principal, staff, Department of Rashastra and Vaisheshya Kalpana for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge about some aspects of the Rashastra and Vaisheshya Kalpana. Thank you very much. If you have any queries, you can ask. Doubts?
Hello. Okay, sir. Thank you for the detailed explanation regarding pharmacovigilance. Especially our UG students have got the thorough knowledge, I think, for their syllabus, what is required. It was more than that. And once again, we have the knowledge or recalling of this pharmacovigilance and refreshing of that topic. Here we have also benefited very much, sir. On behalf of our college, our principal sir, our institute and management members, we are all very thankful to you, sir, for the wonderful session and detailed explanation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anupama madam. Thank you, Sudhi madam, and thank you, sir, Gotru sir. Thank you for this giving me opportunity, and also once again I thank principal of the institution, Dr. K.C. Das sir, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you one and all.